Well, good afternoon. I know it's been a while. Guess I got a little bit busy and haven't got around to making a post here lately, but I'm back. Learned a lot since I've talked to you last. Finished up 2 more classes. On my way to getting my degree in biblical and theological studies. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I think what I'm going to do is just do probably around 10 videos, and it's on the 10 Commandments. I learned a lot about the 10 Commandments. As I had mentioned in the past, there's more to the 10 Commandments than just, thou shalt not murder, or, thou shalt not commit adultery. There's a lot to look into and what God meant by these. I thought you probably think you have them pretty down pat, but unfortunately, as I had learned through these last 8 weeks, is pretty much broken all the 10 Commandments. There's really not one that I probably haven't broken, and you probably haven't broken either. So I thought maybe it's important for us to realize what the 10 Commandments are about, and they're important. Jesus did not do away with the 10 Commandments. They will be there until we go into probably even past that. When we go into our next life, and there's the next world and the next heaven, and these 10 Commandments will always be, because they're God. When we were created by God, we were created in His image, and God expected us to act as Him. We were to mimic God, and then when the Israelites and the Gentiles and all back in the day kind of failed, and God's last resort was to send Jesus. This is the only way that we are going to ever get to experience heaven and God and just living without pain and fear and anger and war and disease. And we have to work for it. So anyways, let's go back to the first commandment, okay? You shall have no other gods before me. This is in Exodus 20, verse 3. Now you got to remember, this is at Mount Sinai when Moses took the Israelites from Egypt, and they are parked in front of Mount Sinai. The Egyptians have been destroyed and all. Moses went up on the mountain and the 10 Commandments. Okay, this is the tablets. This is the one that the 10 rules or commands that God sent down for His people to obey. And Moses broke one immediately and got angry and broke the 10 Commandments. But anyways, what does God mean by no other gods? Now, we look at the Bible and we think back then they had sculptures. We read about the calf that the Israelites made there at Mount Sinai before they even got this rule. And they were praising the calf or glorifying or celebrating. Well, we don't, in our modern society, we probably think that's kind of, not happen as much. Well, you may not set up an idol as far as a gold calf or anything, but how about money? Money everybody's always said money's been the root of all evil. It's not necessarily the money that's the root of the evil, it's the wanting of the money. A lot of it goes back again to desire, all right? We have desires in us. God purposely put desire, but we were supposed to desire the right things. We were supposed to desire wanting to be like God. We should be desired to want to be with Jesus. We want to desire to do our best for the Lord, to not want something over God. For instance, I'll give you a for instance, okay? In my early adulthood, kind of messed up. I graduated college, became a nurse, and found out there was a shortage. So you could just work, you could work 24/7. And I was bringing all these, big paychecks home. And back then, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. So, money was good. And there's where I got into trouble. Guess what? You can buy all kind of materialistic things if you have enough money, and if, you go into credit and all this. So, it wasn't the money necessarily that was so evil. It was my desire for that money. Okay? And for me to desire that money, guess what I was wanting more than God? Wanting more than Jesus. I wanted money. Okay? That was my idol. That was what I was praising. All this great money and life is good and well, it ended up not being so good. All right? That's a story for another time, but it blew up in my face. All right? What God wants in that first commandment, it kind of sounds to me, I don't know if it sounds to you, is that he's kind of a stingy or a selfish or very me God. But after all this studying and stuff, what I've realized is God is like a parent. Well, he's more than a parent. God created us. Without him, there'd be no life. We wouldn't have had our moms and dads. We wouldn't have had anything here on this earth. Anything. Whether you're got a mansion, whether you got a cardboard box, and I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but that cardboard box, came from God. Okay? God wants us to work on earth to be comfortable, but our main goal is to do what God's work is. God created us to take care of his great creation, the world. And more or less, we haven't done such a good thing. It also, he created it so that we could survive. All right? But the main thing is our focus should be God. Jesus in Matthew 6:24 stated that no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and money. That's anything. You could even put in substitute for money is alcohol. Okay? Booze. Okay? You can't serve God and booze. Or you can't serve God and drugs. Or you can't serve God and sex. All right? It doesn't work. That desire for that other thing overrides God, which is, is not good. You're not going to end up in the right place. So, that commandment tells us right from the beginning to stay out of trouble. For us to stay with God, we need to concentrate on God. Just as much every day that I concentrated, I got to go to work to get this big amount of money. Okay? Money. So that overtook everything. Where does God fit in? It didn't. I threw God out. Because I didn't need God because I had all the money. Well, that was wrong. That is totally wrong. And especially after we pass on from this life. Okay, what are you going to do? You can't work and get money and pay your way out of hell. All right? So, and the big thing too is in Deuteronomy, it says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. The key word is love, all right? We say, well, we can't see God. How can we love God? We don't even know if God's there. God's there. We know in our hearts because we're built it that way. God put in us a conscience, a natural law type thing where, people that say they're not Christians or don't believe in God still do not believe in killing each other. Okay? Guess who put that there? Well, it's just not natural. It doesn't seem natural. Does the lions think maybe we shouldn't kill other animals or them, kill another lion? Or does dogs not fight because, they don't have that? God didn't give animals that inner moral conscience. Okay? That just didn't pop up in humans like they want us to believe. All right, God put that there. That is part of God. People try to deny that, but you can't explain it any other way. So But the key word is love. Okay, God just wants us to love him. God created us in his image, and he loved us so much that he put us in charge of everything. And for us to turn our back on him and have other idols and so on, I'm sure everybody that's listening to this has had somebody you felt, what is the word I'm looking for? Deceive you or kind of did something that maybe you would have never thought they would have done to you. Just think somebody that would created you, somebody that loves you so much that he sent his only son and died on the cross and didn't even deserve it. That's all he wants us to do is love him. All right, and for us to do that, we have to have the desire to love God and to realize he's there. If you're not quite there yet, keep reading the Bible. Get into Bible study groups. Talk with people that are studying the Bible or going through their Christian walk through the journey with God and Christ. Because until I decided to go back into school and stuff, and I didn't understand all this. And I may babble a little bit today. It's really difficult to understand. It's a feeling, it's a want, it's a desire that First Commandment says have no other God. All right? And it's not the God of power or Thor or whatever else, the Greek gods. It's not that. It's our everyday life. What are you thinking about today? What did you do today? What is your big desire? Oh my gosh, I can't live out without that new Chevy pickup truck. I kid my wife all the time. I'm going to buy them $80,000 trucks. I don't need no $80,000 truck. All right? All I need is my wife. And that's another good example too. You have people in your life that you don't think you can live without. All right. I have 4 kids that I love daily, and I pray for them, and I just can't imagine. There are 3 of them are all grown up and off on their own and stuff, but I just can't imagine them not being there now. So what do you think God feels like when we do that to him? Okay, they're not here. I don't see them. I might see them, one of them or 2 of them, 3 or 4 times a year. There's another one that I probably see a little more. But they're there. I know that, and I love them, and I know they love me. And that First Commandment fits. It's very important, and it's important for God. God is our Father, and just think how much you hurt him when you go off and do something that he really doesn't want us to do. And he's not out, he doesn't want us to see us fail. That's not the point. That's not the point of God. God's love and grace. So I just wanted to go over this First Commandment because today's society, there is so much. I'm not saying you can't live in the world. Don't get me wrong. God doesn't want us to shut down and every day you sit around and okay, God, what do you want me to do today? That's not it. God gives us free will, gives us choice. But everything that we do and everything that we have, maybe once in a while stop and say, oh, God, this is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I built a new house and I'm just as happy in this house that I did not build. Okay? Sometimes wanting materialistic things or worldly things is very, very bad. It'll put you into a place a darkness. You don't want to go there. But God can pull you out of that. I mean, I know there's people out there that's having a lot rougher time than I am, and people overseas, and even in this country. It's just confusing, and people seem to be very angry and hate. But there's one place you can always go, no matter what you've done or who's done something to you, and that's the Bible and God. And if you do not have anybody or anybody to talk to, and feel free to contact me. I don't have a problem. Like I said, I'm not a preacher and I'm not a psychiatrist, but I went through some stuff and I am still learning. I am 59 years old now, and this is a whole new lease of life for me. It really is. And I really do want to share it with you. And maybe I didn't make sense, and maybe you have questions. Hey, if you got questions, let me see them, and I'll see what I can do. If I can't answer them right now, I'm in a wonderful college, and the professors, I have a professor coming up in this next class that I love the man. He's very strict, on grading and stuff, but he is just totally awesome. He is very smart, and I'll go to people like him. But I'm sorry I didn't make a video sooner, but I just want to talk about these commandments. They're very, very important, and there's more to them than just, okay, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt, and so on. So my next video will probably be the second commandment. So we'll just go down and we'll make 10 videos out of these commandments. Again, if I babbled too much and something didn't make sense, contact me. I'm not perfect. And if you have any questions or want to hear something different, or even if you have a different comment, maybe your outlook is a little bit different. Beautiful. Would love to have that discussion. So, but anywho, I just want to thank you for tuning in. And I just love everybody, and I just want this country and this world to know God, because we could be in a lot better place. So you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later.